Every lesson is a lyric in the universal song. Oh, the lessons of the journey, I'll weave them in my song.
Welcome to Lessons of the Journey with Coach Jen and Coach Nicole. Today's lesson, one we wish they would have taught us in school. Seriously. How to question things with a little more scrutiny. You know those life lessons we all grew up hearing, the ones passed down like bite-sized bits of wisdom, short, catchy, and oddly comforting. Well, not all of them have stood the test of time, and some, they were just never true to begin with. So today, we're hitting pause on autopilot and taking a closer look at a few of those so-called life lessons.
Thank you, Nicole. We are kicking things off with the sayings that probably seemed wise at first, but they can actually do more harm than good. The next few that we're going to run through, we're calling total bullshit. Number one, everybody's heard this. Follow your passion and the money will flow. Sounds super dreamy. The truth is, not all of your passions are going to pay your bills. And sometimes your passion changes over time. What research shows is that skills often come first and passion actually grows from mastery. So instead of asking, what am I passionate about? A better question might be, what am I curious enough to get good at?
Great question.
That's a fun one. All right, number two. Hard work always pays off. Gosh, I feel like this came from the boomer generation. Well, we wish it did. And guess what? Hard work does not always equal success. We were fed a lie. Things like privilege and timing and luck and who you know more often play a major role. So if you've worked your butt off, really and truly, and you still feel behind, you are not broken. It's probably the system. Number three, time heals all wounds. Just give it time. Everything will be okay in time. No, not always. Some wounds actually require active healing, therapy, support, maybe closure. Time alone does not guarantee healing.
So true.
Yeah.
I want to go back to the one you said that hard work always pays off. I was having a conversation with Tim about how much luck he thinks plays into his success. And my husband's a very hard worker by nature. So I want to be really clear. If you're a hard worker, I get it. It does contribute to your success. But the reality is he was born in the United States of America to a white family in an affluent area. All of these things are simply luck. And they give him a certain level of privilege. And he had a hard time understanding that. They did a study, the Monopoly game study.
Oh, I know that one. But let's tell our listeners. Yes.
Let's tell the story because this is so fascinating to me. There was a Monopoly game and they would have people come in and either you're the one who gets to roll every time or you're the one who gets to roll every other time.
Okay, I'm aware of a different one where you're allowed to buy and you're not allowed to buy. Yeah.
So I guess they've done the Monopoly thing multiple ways.
Tell me yours.
So the one I had, I think it was actually they let one person roll twice.
Okay.
They said, you roll twice, you get to roll once. And of course, by halfway through the game, the person who gets to roll twice is doing way better.
Yeah, pass go, get $200 every time.
Yeah, it's like every time. So they're buying more properties, of course, because they're landing on more. Yep. They're passing go more times. If you've played Monopoly, you realize there's a big advantage to this. Not one person, when they said to them at the end of the game, why did you win? Not one person said, because I got to roll twice. Every single person said, because I'm a better Monopoly player or something to that effect.
That's so interesting. That's such a clear advantage.
Yes.
Stamp it on your forehead, blatantly obvious.
Yes. Now, I found this through a video and I did not fact check this, but it makes sense because logically we make up excuses in our mind for our success that have more to do with what we did than luck.
Yes.
I found that so fascinating. So I showed the video to my husband and then I said, so why do you think you're successful? What percentage would you attribute to luck and what percentage would you attribute to hard work? And of course, he was like 80% hard work. And I'm like, oh, what country were you born in? And I just kind of went through the list. He's going to love that I'm telling this story, by the way.
We love you, Tim. It's not your fault. It's just your responsibility.
I just thought that was interesting. And I want to be clear. I still think everyone should work hard when it matters. We're not saying don't work hard. It's just don't contribute everything to hard work. So tell us about the study you heard.
Well, it's similar to yours, except for it's the ability to buy property and not buy property. And when you land on the squares where somebody has property and you have to pay that rent, the ability to gain money in that way, which kind of underlines what you're saying is the privilege of the ability to do something like that. If you don't have the means, the resources, you can't go buying the property. So if one is allowed to, one is not allowed to. And then it shows the difference in the disparity of money. Still, to your point, the underlying aspect of the privilege that you get owning this property versus not, similar and different.
Yeah.
And I probably am only aware of that because of my real estate background. Where I go on this is the always. Hard work always pays off. No, always and never. We can't utilize language like that because it does not take into account all of the things that you were talking about, your standing in life and where you're running from. Second point, I just posted this on my Facebook stories. It was a visual of what I'm going to assume a husband and wife, and the two kids, maybe ages 6 and 8, are on top of dad, and they're standing at a race line start. The dad very clearly cannot run as fast as the mom because he's juggling a 6 and 8-year-old on top of him. And this woman just takes off. And it was such a visual identification of this is what women deal with regularly and how hard work. Tell me you're not working hard. I work from my cell phone with the kids at home and I make it work. Their dad gets to go to work. And how often have I been like, I'm working my ass off and I don't get as far because I'm interrupted, stopped, kid is sick, I'm not sleeping because I'm the one that they go to with the bad dream. It's such a beautiful visual of put the kids on your back and see how far you get versus let me go and see how far I get. So it's not a hard work always pays off because we're out here working our asses off with kids attached to us.
I do think hard work can pay off. I think it's hard work pays off, not always. It really depends. We're not going to dive into every one of them that deep. That's a really good one. There's so much nuance to that.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on to number 4, good vibes only. Okay. This is just emotional avoidance dressed up as an inspiration. We need room for our whole range of human.
Yes.
Anger, grief, confusion, joy. Growth lives in the messy middle, not just the sunny side. I would even say rarely on the sunny side. Growth, it's in the messy middle and the horrid down.
When it's everything's rosy, it's great. No, it's not all the time. I mean, is it sometimes? Yes. And you're holding yourself to an impossible standard.
That's why good vibes only is just such a rule for avoidance. And I don't agree with that one. Number 5, just ignore the bullies. Okay, let's be real clear that most bullies won't stop because you just ignore them. Sometimes they need to be put in their place. Yeah, That's why I want to go back to high school as an adult because I'm way smarter and I can put them in their place way better.
Now, put in their place, we don't know what that means. Talk with your
Depends
children.
on the bully.
Talk it right.
All right, number 6, stay in the relationship for the kids.
Oh, yeah, that's old school.
Yeah, a contentious relationship does not teach a child anything good, and it may even set them up for disaster in their own future relationships. Yes, showing your children how to work it out can be beneficial, but if it can't be worked out, you need to teach your child how to separate and co-parent with grace, at least as much as you can control.
So many unhappy people stayed in it for the kids.
I always said, what are you teaching your kids?
This is what love looks like. So go on out and find an awful relationship just like me. Yep.
Now, work it out because you love the person. That I believe in if it's possible.
So number 7, forgive and forget. Forgetting isn't necessary or even actually healthy. You can forgive without erasing the lesson, the boundary, or the harm. You can. Most people will repeat their patterns, and we do know this. This is where that fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me comes in. It is not necessary to forget. Actually, it is harmful to you to forget. Work on forgiveness because it's better for you. It's not for them. It's for you. This next one boils my blood. If she says no, you just have to pursue her harder. Yikes. I can't. This is so disgusting, and it completely invalidates the experience of any woman out there. That's it. I just say gross. Stop it. That's all I'm saying. Okay, number 9. Find a job you love and you'll never work a day in your life. So this saying accepts a totality that you will love everything you do if you love the work that you do, which is certainly not the case. There are aspects of every job that you will not love and, dare I say, actually detest. This also tends to make people who are working for the money, a noble thing to do, feel as though they're not worthy. So you're clocking into your job that you didn't find a passion for, and you're like, well, I guess I'm failing in life. That is not true. So forget it. You don't have to love the work that you do. You can have a passion outside of that. We've actually done a whole side quest thing. Check out that episode.
Love it. Yeah. And if you're out there just making the money because you got to feed your kids and take care of the family or take care of yourself, feed yourself and pay your rent, kudos to you.
Yep. Go get it.
All right. Number 10. God gives you what you can handle. Okay. This is a platitude that doesn't reflect the reality of human suffering. This also minimizes mental illness and trauma as a response to traumatic situations. Many people face far more than they can bear alone. This phrase can minimize suffering instead of encouraging support. I have a hard time with that one. Mm-hmm. All right. Number 11. You can't expect anyone to love you if you don't love yourself first, or you can only love others as much as you love yourself. Okay, I'm calling total BS on this. Not all of us have our self-love figured out. And this saying excludes everyone who doesn't love themselves as not being capable of loving another person or being loved. Sorry, that's just BS. Even when someone has self-loathing, they can still often express outward love, and others can absolutely love them. These sayings are way too simplified, and they create a narrative that just isn't true.
And walking about life thinking that you are unlovable because you are struggling internally, it puts us all in a bad spot.
Yes, stop thinking this. In fact, sometimes others loving us is what gets us to love ourselves. Let go of that there's a rule about how much you have to love to be loved or to express love, because it just doesn't exist. Mm-hmm. Number 12, take the leap and the net will show up. Now, I'm sure this one will be controversial, as I've heard many a life coach give this exact advice. Look,
not this one.
I'm all for being brave, but I also noticed that this is always said as advice for someone else. If you want to do this, go for it, but don't let anyone who won't have to deal with the consequences feed you this line. Find your balance between bravery and caution and stick to it.
Stick to it. All right. Treat women like crap. Absolutely no one, including 50% of the human race, wants to be treated like crap. Not now, not ever. Not back then, not in the future. Stop saying stupid shit like this. Nobody wants it. Done. Soapbox, mic drop. Done.
And look, a lot of us might be like, why would anybody ever do this? But how many shows do you watch where there's the guy who treats the girl like crap? So don't tell me it's not happening out there. It's happening out there. Stop it.
This one's a hard one for me because I heard it a lot out of grief, and it's everything happens for a reason. Awful advice for any situation where you were a victim. This is often used to dismiss real pain or uncertainty. Now, I get it. Uncertainty, it's hard to deal with, but stop. Some things do actually happen randomly or unjustly, and forcing meaning onto everything really feels invalidating.
I have to be honest, I've fallen for this before. And I used to be a person who believed this. And I realized that there were things that happened in the world that there was no reason behind them. And I just can't imagine saying this to certain people who've been in certain situations. I'm sure people said it to you when you lost your fiance. It's like, seriously? That's what you're going to say? There's a reason for that. I think it's callous.
A woman being raped. Tell me that's for a good reason.
Right.
Losing your child.
Exactly.
And the list goes on.
The world can be random and unjust, so stop saying that.
This one is interesting, and it's ask for forgiveness, not permission. Now, I've always been a rule follower. I was raised that way, healthy respect or fear of my parents. But wow, does this allow for a ton of bad behavior? So, okay, I'll admit, I've said this regarding some situations in my life, but it can also be the road to like some really hurtful behavior. And I would like to remind everybody that consent really is a beautiful thing.
Agreed. Yes. I think this can be used in light situations when you know that your forgiveness, not permission, is not going to actually hurt. And I think some people use this for harm. Moving on to number 16, they're just jealous. Got to be honest, I've heard this a lot in my life. This may be true 10% of the time, but most times it's something else. They may be bullies. They may not like you. It could be any number of things, but jealousy rarely causes people to do mean things to you. And those that say they're just jealous are just trying to make you feel better. Ask yourself, did I do something? If you did, then fix it. If you didn't, it might just be on them.
I don't like that one because it just dismisses bad behavior.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Because jealousy is not as bad as they're just doing a bad thing. Because the bad thing you should be held accountable for, but do you have to be accountable for jealousy? Yeah, it's a slippery slope.
Yeah.
And I want to be really clear. Some of these I have used, some of these I have embraced, and I'm looking at them in a different way now. If I know better, I got to do better. All right, number 17, give 100% in everything.
Everything.
Okay, no, that could be exhausting. Choose what you give 100% to. Make the choice. If you choose to give 100% to something, that is your decision. This 100% to everything, wow, that is such a journey to exhaustion and burnout. So let's be careful.
Yeah.
All right, number 18. This one's just kind of interesting, and I think we need to share this. Bees, snakes, spiders are dangerous, and you should kill them. I have a hard time even just saying that. Bees, snakes, spiders are, I want to put in the not, okay, are dangerous and you should kill them. These animals all have a right to exist and live in our world. If a bee stings you, it will die. Bees sting if they feel threatened. So if you leave them alone, they will leave you alone. Most snakes are good, and many are actually good to have around because they eat the dangerous snakes and will protect you. And by the way, less than 1% of the world's over 50,000 spider species can do any real harm to a human. Know what to look out for and leave the rest alone. FYI, I don't want anything living in my home other than humans and the animals I choose, but I can also be kind to those that just lose their way and put them outside. Mm-hmm. Can we all do that? Just
maybe. You're going to get all the arachnophobias in here going, no, kill it then.
Look, and if you have that fear, then if they're in your home, okay, do your thing. But if they're outside, leave them alone.
Yeah. You don't have to go after them.
We had a really beautiful giant huntsman in the backyard, and the grandkids found it, and they were like, what is that? And I took a picture and did the Google search, and I'm like, oh, that's a huntsman, and completely harmless. I mean, he's big and hairy, almost looks like a mini tarantula, which, by the way, don't mess with tarantulas either. And what we don't realize is these spiders eat all those crappy little bugs, like the flies and the gnats and the mosquitoes. So let them do their thing.
Yeah. And know what's where you live. And if you're traveling, know what's where you're traveling. Yeah. Just be mindful, be aware. Yep. That's like an ever continuing theme in what Nicole and I talk about. Be mindful, be aware. That's it.
And let nature do its thing. And please stop killing bees. Without bees, we're going to be all in very deep trouble. We need the bees.
Okay, here's another one that doesn't really work anymore. No one can make you feel bad unless you let them. That's not true. That's not true. It's the same as sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. That's bullshit. Words hurt. They hurt. It's that throw the stone in the river, the ripples go away, but the stone is still in there. Words can cause deep emotional and psychological harm. And sometimes it lasts longer than the physical wounds. When somebody says something mean, rude, awful, horrible to you, that only if you're not secure in yourself, that will hurt you. That's stupid.
Yeah.
That's stupid.
I've fallen into this one before. When we say things like this, we dismiss emotions.
Yeah.
And we got to stop doing that.
Yeah. Because what would I tell my kid if they came home and said, oh, somebody did that? I wouldn't be like, well, you let them hurt your feelings. I'd be like, wow, that sucks. That's a really mean thing to say. And I'm sorry that happened. Then we get to move into the how true is that? But that's different. Another one. Two halves make a whole. Two halves make a whole. So this is in reference to a relationship. Let's be clear that it's important for you to not expect your partner to complete you. You yourself, the way you show up daily, you are a whole person. Two whole people make a relationship. It is never a 50-50 thing. We are whole people doing the best job that we can, but do not think that somebody else is out there to fit your puzzle pieces and make you whole. That is no. You do you and find somebody who complements that whole person. Okay?
Love it.
That's it. All right, number 21. It gets better. It gets better. So this one might be controversial, but I think we can all agree that false hope helps no one. Sometimes it will only get better if we actually do something about it. Also, it takes effort and time to get better. It doesn't do it on its own. You can't just expect something to happen and go sit there and time will heal. No, do something about it. If it was a problem, do something. That's it.
And sometimes it gets worse before it gets better.
Usually. What's that phrase? It's the darkest part of night is before dawn.
Oh, I've not heard that one before. It's a good one.
It's something to that effect.
All right. So number 22 is kill them with kindness. So, and look, in general, I'm all for kindness, but most of the time when people say this, it's too late for kindness. And these people need to be spoken to sternly, if not aggressively. Stand your ground when necessary. I think this saying has a lot to do with why society frowns upon women who stand their ground and are assertive, because we're just supposed to kill them with kindness.
Yeah, be
Sorry.
soft, be gentle.
No, sometimes you need to be assertive and aggressive, especially when you have men who think that no means something else.
Right.
There you go.
Yes, you do not have to be nice to people who you feel threatened by. Nope.
No, not at all. All right, number 23, follow your dreams. Let's just say that blindly following your dreams with little regard for other things in your life can be a huge mistake. There are people that do this at the detriment of everything, and I think that can be a mistake. Do I think you sometimes can follow your dreams or do it in a side quest or be smart about it? Yes. Follow your dreams and be smart about it is what I think would work better. All right, number 24. This is one of my favorites. Respect your elders. Okay, I'm going to replace this with what I think it should be. Respect is given to all until it is unearned. I don't give two hoots how old you are. You could be 95. If you're disrespectful, I'm calling you on it.
Yeah.
And if I don't call you on it, I'm culpable. And a lot of people don't want to hear that. If somebody's going to be disrespectful, then you choose whether you want to keep that relationship going.
Yep. My mom used to tell me about my grandparents because, you know, different generation, born early 1900s.
Yep.
They would say things that were 1,000% mortifying. As a child, you know these things are wrong, inappropriate, awful. I would challenge that. And my mom would say, they're old. They're not going to change. The best you can do is be better. And I was like, can't be around them then. Choose that fight. Ugh, that was really a troublesome part of my childhood.
When you say respect your elders, I think it's a general respect to everything your elders do and say. I think that's where we have to say no.
Yeah.
Now, could I still hang out with somebody who says something that I feel is inappropriate if I have told them that I think it's inappropriate and they want to continue saying it? Probably depends on what the inappropriateness is.
Yeah.
That's your choice.
Yeah.
But this blanket respect your elders, by the way, this saying also to me says disrespect anyone younger than you. This is a very vertical morality versus horizontal morality statement to me. Respect those older than you, so probably means disrespect those younger than me. Isn't it interesting, the messages that are in here?
Oh, that's interesting you say that. I wouldn't have thought. I think of it more as like they've been through life, they've learned something. You don't just dismiss what they've been through, that whole thing. But that's an interesting take on that.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a whole other discussion.
It is. I like that. Respect is given to all until it is unearned. I like that one.
There you go.
Okay. Number 25. Red wine is good for your heart.
Okay, wait. So stop. You're not going to ruin this for all of us, are you? I know what she's going to do right now. She's going to ruin this. And you all think that red wine is good for your heart. Okay, go ahead, ruin it for us.
Okay. I'm going to ruin it and then I'm going to qualify it. Okay. Because I myself enjoy a lovely glass of red wine on occasion. Every once in a while, I'm like, you know what? A bubble bath and a glass of red wine sounds lovely. And my justification might be, oh, but it's good for my heart. It's okay. All right, here's the breakdown. We're going to really qualify this here. The American Heart Association and WHO ask increasingly that government medical bodies of different countries all over the world say that you should drink zero alcohol for your heart health. None. Absolutely none. Now, where did we get this? Somebody who likes their wine twisted this into something that it is not. Now, there are elements of red wine that do something chemically to your body.
Resveratrol.
Yes, which is actually a good thing that is in red wine. That doesn't mean drink alcohol. It's good for you because you can go and get that element as a supplement and take it without the wino portion of it.
I also think the negative effects of it overrule the resveratrol, but
that's the alcohol portion. So
Yeah.
these folks who are like, I'm going to say red wine is good for your heart. I'm just going to drink a bottle of red wine because it's good for me. It is not. Okay, so don't get it twisted. I'm not judging you. You want to have a glass of red wine because you enjoy it? Fantastic. But don't fool yourself into thinking that, well, I'm doing this because it's good for my heart. Stop. Own it. Okay, another dumb one. You only use 10% of your brain. We actually use all of the parts of our brains. Guess what? Even when we sleep. That's actually why sleep is so important, because your brain is doing the thing that brains do. It's not 10%. It's all of it. Why, by nature, would we have a whole big brain if only 10% of it was intended to function? It doesn't even make logical sense. Okay. Here's another dumb one. Love means never having to say you're sorry. Is this in vows? I'm not married. That's a dumb one. I changed that one. Abso-freaking-lutely not. And we've had so many episodes on what healthy looks like. Okay, healthy love actually requires sincere apologies, repair, and accountability. Healthy relationships find that I'm sorry necessary. If you're going about your life and you're not apologizing because that person's just supposed to love me for all of who I am, stop. You are excusing poor behavior and you don't get a pass from us. Nope.
You got to be kidding me. People really believe that love means never having.
Oh, yeah.
That is the dumbest thing I have ever heard. Okay, moving on. Number 28, you get what you pay for. Okay, some expensive stuff is crap and some inexpensive stuff is great. Now, does it matter in some areas? Yeah, but do your research, please, because you get what you pay for is just such a platitude, and no.
Oh, stop it, because that's when I get to sell my coaching and be like, well, it's this expensive because.
And look, I'm not saying to undervalue yourself at all. What I'm saying is when something breaks and someone says to you, well, you get what you pay for. First of all, you don't know what I paid for it. Second of all, no, not necessarily. I disagree. Some expensive stuff is crap. I have a friend who works for Chanel, and she knows damn well that the Chanel bags that are the super expensive ones in the store, they all come from China too. She's like, They all come from the same place.
Yeah.
It's just the name
branding.
Or whatever it is.
Branding. Somebody did a better job at that. Yeah.
Yeah. Expensive stuff can be total crap. Some inexpensive stuff is great.
Yep.
All right. Number 29, treat people how you want to be treated. When I say that, I know some of you are going to go, but why would I not want to treat people how I want to be treated? Okay, well, that's called the golden rule, and it's actually wrong. You want to use the platinum rule instead, which states treat people how they want to be treated. Stop thinking everybody's like you. I mean, if you're a listener of our podcast, you know damn well there's such variety in who we are as people. Find how people want to be treated and treat them that way. Okay, number 30, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Not necessarily. Some experiences can leave lasting trauma or diminish well-being. Growth is possible, but it is not guaranteed. Just keep that in mind.
You know, the theme that I'm hearing in all of these statements is they are platitudes and they are intended to help you feel better about a thing. And you said it a little bit ago, from someone who's not experiencing the consequences of the thing. And it's because people are uncomfortable and sitting in the shit pool that is life sometimes. Oh, I don't want to sit here with you, so I'm going to give you this platitude to help you understand. Yeah, all of this. It's dismissive. All right, 31. People don't change. He did that to you. He's never going to change. He's garbage, whatever. Okay, that's not true. Humans are changing all the time. Actually, literally. And with intention, effort, and the right support, they change the way they want to. And it's been studied. Your brain literally rewires itself. Like every 11 months, you have a new set of wiring. You're changing all of the time based on what's put in front of you, life experiences. So abso-freaking-lutely, people do change. No. If you want to use this as an excuse to leave a situation, cool. Let that be your thing.
And just to clarify, people do change, but waiting for somebody in a relationship to change the way you're expecting them to change, that's probably not going to happen. So be careful of that.
And remember, you are not going to change anybody unless they want to change. So don't waste your energy or your breath on that one. Okay.
Yep.
Number 32. Good things come to those who wait. Can I tell that to my kids? I've never said that to my kids, but no, not always. Good things come to those who act, prepare, practice, show up. Waiting passively rarely changes outcomes.
Okay, wait. Okay, Jen, you're blowing my mind. So I watched that movie, The Secret, and it said all I have to do is cut out the picture in the magazine of the red Corvette, put it on my vision board, and then sit on my couch, and that will happen.
Yeah, what people missed in that is the action part. Yes, it's fantastic to know what you want, to visualize it, to plan on it, to think about it, to put the energy out there, because I do believe in energy. However, if you make that vision board and go to bed, how is it possible that you're going to show up for any of the things that you've asked for? There is no magic pill. You really do have to show up. So you might have to wait for the thing to show up, but you have to act, prepare, and go out and get it. It's two parts. You don't get to take the pill and go to bed. That's not how it works. This one, oh, I hate this one. You made your bed, now lie in it. I almost feel like I got this as a child. Well, you made that decision, and so this is the consequence, and this is the forever thing, and you now have to live your experience because of this one little thing. Like, I get it. And I also think people deserve second chances. And growth means we can make different choices, even after past mistakes. This one thing does not have to define your essence. And do I believe that consequences are a thing? Yes, everybody has consequences, whether perceived positive or negative. It goes back to the people never change. That's just not true. Yes, I have to endure the consequences of the thing, and it's not my essence. I don't have to live in it. It's not a thing that's going to define me moving forward, period.
I love that. I think people who make bad choices need support. I read it once about a society where if somebody did something perceived as bad by the society, they would make a circle around the person and they would go around and all say something that they thought was valuable about that person.
Aww.
And I was like, supporting someone makes change. I think everyone deserves second chances. I've seen it in so many ways. And even with the worst of things happening, I think it's valuable. Yeah, that's really important.
I have to caveat this one. If you abuse children, I have a problem here. But this is a blanket statement. Like, if I were to say this to my kids, well, you were forever scarred. I can't go with that. But if you're an adult making choices, here's the deal. Yeah, you will deal with your consequences. Do you get a second chance? It's hard. It's hard for me.
Well, we all have our level that we're willing to be there for. I think this is more, you made your bed, now lie in it. I'll lie with you and help you through it. Can we support each other when we're not showing up in a way that we need to be showing up? And I think this is I'm going to wash my hands of you. You're on your own now.
Yeah.
You screwed up. See you later. Well, how's that supportive? That's basically feeding into as long as you're good, I'm here to support you. But the moment you mess up, boom, I'm gone. Thanks.
No,
Thanks
see
for
it.
that.
My footnote is abuse. Child abuse, animal abuse, elder abuse, all of the abuse, I will wash my hands.
I think pretty clear on that for most people. Yeah. And this is more when these are used for people who don't do those kind of things.
Yeah.
All right. Number 34. Nice guys finish last. Okay. I am married to a nice guy. Being respectful and kind doesn't doom anyone. Emotional maturity and empathy are strengths, not liabilities.
This is where that toxic masculinity comes from. This is where that, like,
Absolutely.
oh, you're the nice guy. That's never going to get you the woman. You have to pursue her harder if she says no. No, stop. Please stay nice. We like the nice guys. That is such a fallacy from when I was growing up. Stop.
Why do you think nerds are so popular and hot right now?
Yeah.
Because we like the nice guys. All right, number 35. We've discussed this one before, but I love this one. Blood is thicker than water. All right, I want to be really clear. The original quote actually supports chosen family. The blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb. Loyalty isn't limited to biology. I have personally met many a happy person who has a chosen family and does not interact with their biological family. I have also met happy people that interact strongly with their biological family and have some chosen family. Make it happen however it works. But this whole blood is thicker than water is often used to say, you are my relation. This is the same as respecting the elders.
Yeah.
You're my relation, therefore you have to support me. This is that whole honor code society. It's strange to me. I can't understand it. Be careful about thinking this way.
It's so circumstantial. I didn't choose the family I was born into. What if I was born into a shitty family? Why am I then stuck for life with these people? That's not cool. No.
All right, number 36. It is what it is.
It is what it is.
Often used to avoid accountability or change. Things are, that is true, but they can also be changed, challenged, or healed. Keep your power.
And this is usually used as a cop-out.
Yeah,
you knew who I was. It is what it is. Nah. This one is so interesting to me. Number 37. If you really wanted to, you would. Here's the deal. This ignores burnout, trauma, chronic illness, executive dysfunction, or basic survival mode. Desire is not the only factor in action. Please remember that.
I have to be honest. I've said this to myself way too many times. Why, if you want it, haven't you done it? And then I read this and said, thank you for permission.
Yeah.
I love this.
Well, these are things that, again, platitudes, cures, fixes for somebody that's not actually broken. Because, I think a lot of us have heard most of these things. And has it really served us in our lives? This is another one. You attract what you are. Sounds spiritual, but it's way too simplistic. You can be kind and still attract unhealthy people. Actually, narcissists look for empathetic folks. Come on. It's not always a mirror. It's not. It's sometimes a magnet for learning or boundaries. Look at who you are. Look at what's going on in your life. Regularly, I talk with usually women. I keep getting the same type of, let's take a look at that. There's something there. So no, it doesn't mean that you are an awful person. You're more likely the opposite of that person. And there's something to look into with boundaries. Go check out that episode and learning about who you are or who you want to be or need to be in order to change those circumstances. Okay, number 39. Don't cry over spilled milk. I know where this comes from. It's like, it's okay, everything can get cleaned up. But guess what? Your emotions are valid, even over very small things. Sometimes it's not about the milk at all. It's the 37 other things that came before it. And then the milk happened and I cracked. So yeah, it's fine. Honor your feelings, honor your emotions. And I tell my kids this all the time. It's okay, but what else is going on? Because very often we're not mad about the thing. It's the other thing that we're not willing to recognize. Okay. This one, Coach Jen and Coach Nicole are not, okay. You can't teach an old dog new tricks.
Bullshit.
He's just that way forever. She's just gonna stay like, okay, false. Adults and actual dogs can absolutely learn new habits, mindsets, and skills with the right approach and motivation.
Yeah, you might want to watch the episode on side hustles because we got all into adults learning new things.
Oh my gosh. We were talking about how your brain rewires, how new skills can be learned, how very actually intentful you can be about being different than the thing that you don't like. So stop. This is chosen ignorance and I'm not down for it. This one I got growing up. Cold weather causes colds. Y'all, colds are caused by viruses, not the temperature. However, cold weather may indirectly increase risk because people spend more time indoors, closer to others. That's how germs spread, blah, blah, blah. Go outside. It's okay.
Yeah, I've also heard that if you get really cold, like especially if you get hypothermic, you're compromising your immune system and you might be more susceptible to something. I used to have this guy that worked in a restaurant with me and he didn't want me to go in the freezer because he kept thinking I was going to get a cold. I was like, dude, that's not how you get a cold.
We're okay.
All right, now it's time to dig into some common sayings that could use a little clarification. They're not entirely off base, but they do deserve a closer look. So let's proceed with a healthy dose of curiosity and caution.
I like it.
Number 1, the truth will set you free.
Hallelujah.
Well, eventually, maybe. But first, it might wreck your world. Yeah. Truth is powerful, but freedom often comes after discomfort, not before it. Number 2, hurt people hurt people. Sometimes true. I actually agree that this happens, but it's not an excuse. Many hurt people don't hurt others. They break the cycle. Accountability still does matter.
Yes.
All right. Number 3, you have the same 24 hours as Beyonce.
Beyonce of all people.
Everybody knows her. So technically, yes, but no. Let's be honest. She's got a team. She has childcare, chefs, assistants, people to tell her exactly what to eat, people to help her work out. Time is not experienced equally.
Yes.
Now, I may have the same 24 hours as my next door neighbor, but not as Beyonce. Number 4, money can't buy happiness. This is just oversimplified.
Yeah.
Studies show that money can increase happiness up to a point, especially when it reduces stress, provides security, allows for meaningful experiences.
That part, yes. If money can buy you a meaningful experience, that creates happiness. But it's
Absolutely.
A vehicle to the thing.
Agreed. And if you don't have money and you need food, now we're talking security and safety.
Yeah.
That can absolutely 100% affect happiness. You can't be happy when you're stressed about being able to feed your family. Mm-hmm. So money does have the happiness to an effect.
Yeah.
All right. Number 5, you should drink 8 glasses of water a day. We've all heard this.
Yeah.
Okay, let's be clear. This is not universal. Hydration needs vary widely by individual, climate, activity, and diet. The 8 glasses rule is a rough guideline. Mm-hmm. I live in Arizona. The humidity here is 10% if I'm lucky. I have to drink more water because it's naturally dry here. That's not even me personally. If I do my classes in the morning, I'm definitely drinking more water.
Yeah. On the flip side, I'm in Hawaii, and although hydration is absolutely imperative for all human bodies, I'm at 80% humidity. So there's a big difference there. I mean, what's half of my body weight? Is that the same as 8 glasses? I don't know. I haven't done the math.
No, because body weight varies. If you do utilize a system, you can put in your body weight, whether you're male or female. Mm-hmm. There's so many things that affects it, but you can find something online or use your Chat GPT. I just used Chat GPT to figure out my skincare because I was like, it's dry here. And I gave it all the different things. And it's my new best friend. Love it.
Okay. Number 6, everything will work out in the end. This is reassuring, although not guaranteed, and quite possibly dismissive of the thing that is happening right in front of you. Things absolutely can work out, especially with action, support, and resilience, which is my favorite and most hated word of all time. But some endings really are complicated, and it's not guaranteed. So, fake it till you make it. I heard this from my mother growing up, and it can be helpful in the short term, but it can be dangerous if it replaces real skill building, your authenticity, or mental health support that's necessary. Fake it till you make it will only really get you so far.
And you and I have used this before and actually clarified what it works for.
Yes.
In the sense of kind of going against what your brain maybe wants to do. It feels fake, but in that sense, it works. But I agree. Real skill building, absolutely necessary mental health support. So I love that we're clarifying this one.
Yeah, it's very much a short-term tool, not intended to replace anything else. Okay, this one, this one's tough. Be the bigger person. Okay. Sometimes this can be good advice in that every fight or argument is not worth your attendance. But it does have a general theme of being better than others if you let them walk all over you. So use it wisely. Choose what matters, choose what arguments that you would like to attend, and know that, guess what? Everybody in front of you does not deserve the bigger, better person or version of you. Sometimes shit needs to get done, and you don't have to be the bigger person, whatever that looks like, okay? I'm just saying.
Be the bigger person to me always meant shut up and walk away.
Yeah.
And we've talked about situations already previously where shut up and walk away don't work anymore.
No.
So if you got to be tough and assertive, be it.
Yeah.
But choose it.
Choose it. You do not have to attend every argument or fight you are invited to. Guard that energy. Okay. And number 9, just tough it out. It's all right, champ. Okay. So I'm going to say this is partially true. If you are working towards something, then toughing it out might be exactly what you need to get through those not so fun parts, the parts of your passion that you don't love. Okay. If you are hurt mentally or physically, it will generally not help. It'll make it worse, actually. And stop saying tough it out or anything similar to children when they are hurt or feeling emotions. It's dismissive and it's rude. And studies show that they grow up questioning themselves. Okay, number 10, humans have 5 senses. We were all taught this in school. So besides sight, hearing, taste, smell, and touch, humans actually have many other senses like balance, temperature, pain, and body position. So there's a lot more going on than what we were taught in school.
I did not know that. Fascinating how much more you learn about the body as you get older.
Yeah.
Probably because you're required to. Things go wrong. And you're like, what's going wrong? You're like, oh, it might be nerve pain. You're like, oh, I didn't know that could do that. All right, number 11. If you work hard, you'll succeed. Okay. Hard work helps, but success also depends on privilege, access, timing, and luck. We talked about this earlier in one of the other ones. Number 12, communication is the most important thing in your relationship. I think generally this isn't bad advice, except it's not always true. For example, more communication won't help your relationship if one of you is a raging narcissist. However, having 2 stable, secure, self-aware people is the most important thing in your relationship. I would say after that, then we can go into the communication part.
Well, and I think that the word communication is really overgeneralized as well. It's not necessarily more communication. It's how are we communicating?
Yes.
You don't need more words to make communication. You need clarity. That creates power in the communication. So this whole overgeneralized version of, well, we just don't communicate anymore. Nobody needs to talk just to hear themselves talk. That's really actually annoying. We need proper communication. And what that looks like in any relationship is going to be individual to that relationship. Do not overgeneralize communication.
Agreed. Also knowing that communication is way more than just verbal.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's understanding all the things that we talk about in our podcast. So if you want to learn to communicate better, I guess we're a good resource for that.
There you go.
All right. Number 13, trust your gut. Okay, this one may be true for some, and it may be true for some of us sometimes, but our gut can be incorrect too. We need to acknowledge that our brains lie to us all the time because our brains are storytellers that make things up all the time. Sometimes we are listening to our brains, not our guts. What if you are someone who suffers from social anxiety? Your gut is probably always saying avoid people like the plague, but we also might thrive on human interaction. So in this case, your gut may be misleading you. Also, sometimes our gut says to say yes when our boundaries aren't solid. And what we really need to say is no. Be careful with this one.
Well, and I think that we often, because we're so beautifully human, our brains attempt to regularly override that initial sensation, the spidey sense that goes, something's off here. I'm really not sure. But because I don't have enough information, my logical brain is attempting to override that. And we confuse our brains for our guts. They always say, when you're taking a test, go with your gut reaction.
Just use this one wisely. All right, number 14, just be yourself. Okay, I want to clarify. I actually love this quote, and I think it has merit. I just want to be very clear that this is not a free pass to be an a-hole. If being yourself is intrusive to other souls on this planet, then check yourself before you wreck yourself, because that is not okay in a society when you share space with others.
Yeah.
Look, be yourself unless you're an asshole. Then be someone else.
Yeah, agreed.
All right. Number 15, the left brain is logical and the right brain is creative. This is actually oversimplified. While some functions are more lateralized, both hemispheres collaborate in complex tasks. The right brain versus left brain idea is an oversimplification of brain function. I have to be honest, I did not know that. I'm so glad to have that information now. That's awesome.
Yeah. Do people use that as an excuse? Well, I'm right-brained, so that just isn't gonna, like...
I think people say, well, I'm more left brain, I'm logical, so I can't be creative.
Yeah.
Or I'm right brain, so I'm creative, so I can't be logical.
Mm-hmm.
We're calling BS on you. All right, let's go into some takeaways.
Takeaways. Oh my gosh. Just overall, in general, I've heard probably 90% of these. I've probably used in real life 70% of these with the intention in the right place, not really diving into that, well, that's oversimplified, or that's an excuse, or that's just me giving a platitude trying to make somebody feel better. And I get that people genuinely don't want others hurting or really want to try to help or fix or whatever that looks like without understanding the consequences on the other side. So I love that we were able to draw out some of these things that I think a majority of our listeners have probably heard in life, used, and kind of just dismissed all of the other things going on. I think that words are important. They matter, that the way you choose to use them is important and it matters. And don't dismiss other people's experiences. That's my biggest takeaway from all of these things.
That's awesome. Yeah. Most of these things have come from my heart, 100% when I've said them. And they were meant in a positive way. I think for me, my takeaway is I'm going to rethink before I say something. If I was the person on the other side receiving, how would I feel about that? A lot of these are about choices of utilizing them in the right scenario. It's always meant to be supportive. Choosing to use it in scenarios where it's supportive and not dismissive. And some of these just bye-bye. Don't need them.
Yeah. Some of these are even the introduction to really big ideas in life. It can spark a larger conversation, but to use it to be dismissive is really not the point here. Yeah. And I invite larger conversation around some of these. I think that it would be really impactful. Also, it's okay to not know what to say. You don't have to have the right thing. You know, the trust your gut or just be yourself. These are all really well-meaning things, but sometimes it's okay to not say the thing too. Sometimes it's okay to go, wow, you know, I have no idea what that's like. I'm so sorry this is happening because I can see that it's impacting you and I am here.
I think even saying to someone, is there anything you want to hear from me right now? Because I'm happy to give you what you need in this moment, but what do you need to hear from me?
And sometimes they won't know, and that's okay too. We as humans, we become uncomfortable with silence, and we think that we need to fill the void. I remember just in grief, the things people said were just so awful, well-intentioned, just awful to hear, right? So, yeah, that's my takeaway. Think before you speak. There you go.
Yes. All right. Questions.
Okay.
Do you want to go first?
You receive. Are we ready?
Okay. I'm a receiver. Throw me the ball, coach.
What tells you the most about a person?
Okay. I think what tells me the most about a person is how they treat somebody that could be perceived as under them. And I'll give you an example. I love being in a restaurant with people I've never met and watching how they treat the staff. I think it is such an indicator of how they think of themselves. I mentioned vertical versus horizontal morality, and we really haven't gotten into that in one of our podcasts, but it's that concept of it's based on religion. If you have vertical morality, up and down morality, God's above you, then there's you. That kind of indicates that there's probably someone below you, which to me is a problem. The concept is I'm going to be good because God is watching over me, but then I might be watching over someone else. Not saying that it's always that way. Horizontal morality is I'm good to you because we're all equal. And I believe that. And when I watch somebody and how they treat someone in the service industry, it's a key indicator. I have had meals with people where they treat the staff like crap. And I'm like, that person's an ass. I could not be friends with someone like that. It's just such a key indicator is how they treat the people that they could perceive as not on their level. Maybe sometimes it's how they treat children. Maybe sometimes it's how they treat animals. I don't know.
Thank you for that. I have a tendency to agree with you on that. I have heard so many anecdote stories about CEOs, big wigs of very, very large companies when they're making a decision to hire a higher up, how a restaurant or a meal is something that is kind of universally used to observe a person. It's really interesting that you said that. Like, I've heard a story. It was, before every hire, I take them to a meal and I observe. And it wasn't the staff. It was actually something that was really an interesting concept to me. It was when their food is placed in front of them, do they taste it? Do they assume that they need extra spices? It was really the more general observance of how they would perceive somebody. Are they assumptive? Are they presumptive? All of these things that you may or may not want inside of your company at a certain level. And I found that fascinating. And
I can actually see a lot of those things happening. There are people who are picky about their food.
Yeah.
There are people who send a lot of food back. There are people, they'll just eat whatever they got, even if it's the wrong meal. Isn't that interesting? Because I think there are a lot of things you can learn from people.
Yeah, agree.
Yeah.
Good one.
All right. You already mentioned a video, but here's my question for you today. What's the best meme you've seen recently?
Oh my gosh. I was going to say that one. I was like, I so identified with that one. I will tell you one that made me chuckle, and this is only because I come from the real estate world. A rat in front of a house doing some sort of like striptease dance because the house wasn't selling. And it was like realtors these days. It just made me laugh so hard. I sent it to a number of real estate friends, and that's the first one that popped in my mind. But it did get an active chuckle out of me because I coach realtors. It was pretty funny. Oh, that market out there. Yeah. Okay. That was a fun one. All right. Here's your gentle reminder, because we're all about gentle reminders. If you have been living by someone else's script, and it is no longer serving you, it's okay to put it down. You have total permission to rewrite that story. Find something that does serve you. Replace it. Choose just one of these old lessons. I know you heard them. Just question it. That's where the unlearning portion of life begins. So next week, we're going to be diving into some simple truths that you may have forgotten, but that are very powerful and definitely worth remembering. And hey, if this episode sparked something for you, share it with a friend who might need a little permission to rethink things too. And we'll see you next time. Bye.
Write your lines with passion, let your spirit freely roam. The lessons of your journey will lead you safely